Hello, it's Joshua of Milestone Play, and today we're going to Lilac City Comicon. Was this a planned event? Absolutely not. Did I wake up this morning, see a Discord post about it being day 2 of the 2-day convention, and we're already about an hour late for a 6-hour day? Yeah, about that. So we're gonna go see if they have any badges still available. I think they do, and if they do, we're gonna have a good time. So I just walked by the table for Crystal Starr. She was on a Lego Masters. She's a YouTuber, cosplayer, nerd culture host on the internet, college humor, whole bunch of stuff. And she asked me who I was cosplaying as, and I don't like admitting to trying to dress like Rick O'Connell, but I kind of do. It already is the outfit. I just added on the scarf from Morocco. And so I just, oh no, it's just my clothing, put on a scarf, continue walking because social anxiety. No more than 2 minutes later do I walk by a dude who just yells, "Dude, Rick O'Connell," and goes for a high five. So I think I just have to own it. In college, I was accused of dressing as Indiana Jones when I was walking around campus. And I mean, I know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to dress up. It's just what I wear now.
I've heard the other cast crew talk about how miserable that was. How was it for you?
I loved it. The barrel rides was really fun. I'd actually been down the Pelorus River where we shot that as a young man with Outward Bound, so I knew the river. I loved being in the barrels because the rest of the time we were in 3 layers of wool. It was really hot. Here we were in our pajamas in the river. It was like, yay, bring it on. But the other thing about that is they built a fake river for us to shoot the rest of it, and it was like a ride at Disneyland. And Peter kept having to tell us that we were being chased and we were scared, and we were like, yee-hee, woo-hoo, especially Aidan Turner. And in fact, he didn't stop smiling the whole time because he just couldn't help it. But the other thing is, Martin Freeman was in the water the whole time when we were in the barrels, and he realized that we didn't get out of the water for any reason. Let's just leave that with you. Let your imaginations go wild.
Thank you very much.
Really emotional moment, but what I'm doing is stealing one of Bilbo's pipes and putting it in my pocket, which I still have. And I got 48 pieces of gold from Trollshaw, which I was putting in my boot while I was digging the hole. But Graham McTavish, who plays Dwalin, found out, so he made me give him 24 pieces, so he was going to tell Peter. And then he gave them away to fans and told everyone anyway, so everybody knew that I'd done it. I got some salt and pepper shakers and some candelabra from Rivendell. And I got a whole lot of stuff from the counter room, a whole lot of jewelry, but they saw me doing it, so I had to give it all back. Yeah, so that was my favourite line from just because it was kind of so much part of my character.
I love it. And my question to you would be, throughout your whole filming experience, what was the most impactful moment to you, whether it be a special scene or a character you played or anything like that?
I was at a convention a couple of years ago with David Wenham, Miranda Otto, Sean Astin, Dominic Monaghan, and various other people, and we were asked that question, and the majority of us that were there that day said it was Pelennor Fields. That day with Bernard Hill inspiring us with that speech when he came down, and it was his idea to have us lower the spears and hit all the spears. We had 300 extras who were just people from farms, people from schools, people from their local community who happened to have a horse. And they were like, you know, just we're on a film set, this is really kind of boring, we're sitting around doing nothing. But that day, Bernard was so inspiring that there was no acting. Like, we literally were galloping to death and glory for our king. It was, and even now when I talk about it, the hairs on the back of my head stand up, just knowing what it was like sitting on a horse about to be at full gallop, stirrup to stirrup with 300 people. That's like, yeah, no one gets to do that. I'll never get to do it again. It was the single most seminal moment of my career. And yeah, I just, you know, yeah, it's a really cool scene.
Of the characters you've played, which would you say took the longest, was like the most painstaking in terms of getting into the makeup?
Yeah, so Shaku the Wild Rider, the one who beats up Aragorn, that's a 7.5 hour makeup.
Jeez.
So it's 4.5 hours just to turn this beauty into ugliness. But it was also 9 layers of body paint to get all the scarification kind of layered in there. And so we had 5 makeup artists. We'd be there at 2 in the morning. And the makeup would be finished at 9 when everyone else is coming in for breakfast. And then there's a 12-hour shooting day, at least a 12-hour shooting day on top of that. So every day was at least 19 hours, sitting in a very uncomfortable, like the costume itself, once it was on, it was on. They couldn't take it off because it would peel the paint off. And it was a really kind of a big prosthetic kind of skeleton of a tar, which is a type of goat that I had to wear. So that was grueling. And I couldn't eat any food once the teeth were in. They had to be cemented into my mouth. So just liquid food, like lots and lots of kind of smoothies. So not a lot of fun. I did try to wear the makeup home one night, thinking I would save time. And then I got an $800 bill from the hotel for completely destroying the sheets. Because all the makeup came off on the bed, and I was like, they're like, did you murder someone in here? It's like, no, that's just my face coming up. They're like, what? It's like, it's kind of hard to explain. But even then, the whole face moved in the night, so they had to take it off and then reapply it, so it actually cost more time, so I learned a valuable lesson. So yeah, that was the one that was most grueling. The elf I played, it was literally 5 minutes to put the wig on. That was the one that was the least grueling. And the elves have the cool costumes. They're not heavy, they're really light. They're like models, like, yeah, man. I'm like an elf, man, I can shoot you, dude, you know, whatever. Bow and arrow, really cool, I can see forever. They have no idea what it's like to really work with those guys. We were given a lot of license to create these family moments, you know. Dory, who's the older brother in our family, I've been kicked out of my own community for stealing from other dwarves. That's a real no-no. So I've been living wild. I've met wargs before. I've seen orcs. I've been out camping. I've seen trolls in the distance. So I'm the one who's kind of worldly. And he doesn't want me to pass any of that coolness onto the little brother. In fact, Dory was never meant to come on the journey. But his mother said, yeah, it's okay. And I haven't seen my mother in 50 years. I haven't been part of the family in 50 years. So we tried to work in that reuniting where I'm like trying to influence it, and he's going, he's not cool, he's a thief. You know, he stole from his own family. You know, he stole jewelry from mum and then sold it to some orcs. So we tried to create that kind of backstory, and it was really, one of the things that we tried to do is have Ori and Dory standing, and then Nori's over here trying to be cool with the other dwarves. He's not really with his family. And also that enmity with Dwalin, where this big kind of fight and Bag End over the food, and from then on every time we saw each other we'd be like, we really don't like you. I said I've been lucky enough to be travelling on and off with the Ukrainian orchestra doing the music from Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and I get to stand up and tell stories, but the other thing I get to do is I get to sing with the orchestra, with this beautiful orchestra doing the music. And so every night there's a moment at the beginning of Act 2 where I come out and I sing a song that I was lucky enough to sing on film. The story behind this song is that half of the dwarves were meant to hum. But once Peter rolled camera, because we were on camera, and we wanted to be in the film, all of us decided that we would be singers, even though some of us couldn't sing. So this is a little song that we like to call Mystic Mountains. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day, to find our long forgotten gold. The fire was red, it flaming spread. The trees like torches blazed with light. The trees like torches blaze with light. Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, thank you very much.
So make your way down to room 300 A&B.
Why are you having such a hard time?
Makes sense. It's their first year. Yeah, it's run by students. Yeah. The first year, I was like my last year at UW. I was like, I can help out.
It's like I was waiting for the Oh yeah, thank you. I decided to take
However, if you would like to go cheer on some of the best kids cosplayers here at Lilac City Comicon, make sure you head down.
How you doing there?
Oh, doing excellent.
Doing it?
Comicon, having a great time.
You're not allowed to have a great time.
Oh yeah, I've been in therapy a long time.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yep.
We're the Super 90s Bros. Thanks so much for coming. We're a podcast about the 90s. We talk all things about the 90s. We talk about the good things and the bad things. Since it's a Comic-Con, we're doing a comic book episode today. And you've probably seen that we've got some feelings about Batman and Robin. But that's totally fine. We're going to go through it together. If you like our show and want to check out our podcast, the QR code's right there. If not, don't worry about it. Just enjoy the roast today. And thank you guys so much for being here.
And that was most of the con. I left a couple things out. I went to the beginning of the Crystal Star Lego panel that was going on. It was pretty noisy. It didn't seem like a good spot to film anything. All of the different booths that I stopped at, whether I bought something or I was just highlighting them because they looked interesting, any of those links that I can find will be down in the description. But yeah, that was Lilac City Comic Con, and have a lovely.